Hello everyone and welcome to another Poppy Playtime video, and today we're talking about something a little different. Today we're talking about the video that's been going around lately in the community, and I've only recently learnt of this video thanks to a few comments that have suggested that I cover it. And of course, the video in question is titled Poppy's Secret Ending Voice Line, a video created by the Indie Gamers. And while we're here, I would like to give them a little shout out for helping me in finding the original file. So the first thing I do when I come across stuff like this is make sure it's legitimate, make sure I can find it myself, and etc, etc. But in this situation, I couldn't actually find it myself and I couldn't find it in the game files. So I reached out to the Indie Gamers and then they informed me where it was, which was very nice of them. So go check them out. They're doing loads of Poppy Playtime coverage at the moment and it's really interesting. I'll leave a link in the description. But with that being said and the thank yous delivered, we're going to be talking about the audio file, and we're going to talk in more depth about where it's come from, what it can mean, and even if it matters. But you guessed it, I wouldn't be a YouTuber if I didn't ask you if you enjoy Poppy Playtime content and love talking theories and explain videos. Help me and help the channel by hitting subscribe, as it really does help. And speaking of helping, if you look in the description, there is a referral link to the Poppy Playtime merch store, where if you use that link and my code It's Just Yours, you can get 10% off your order, and of course it helps me out a little too, so it's greatly appreciated. Anyway, shameless self-promotion out of the way, let's get into this video. So, first thing I'm going to do is show you the audio file in all its glory, and I'm going to put behind it the ending scene that we get from Chapter 2 anyway, so you have an idea of where it's supposed to go, etc, etc. But anyway, let's play that audio.
All odds, you defeated Mommy, and you freed me once again. You are perfect. Too perfect to lose. I'm sorry. I cannot let you leave yet. You have so much potential. I know you came to find the ones who had disappeared all those years ago. But they're gone. They've been gone for a long time. Terrible things have happened, and I am the cause. Being able to exist as a doll, it has killed so many people. So much is unknown to you. Where do I even begin? But you can fix everything. I see it inside you. This train is now heading towards Playcare. It's the best place to start looking. What is...
Wow, so some really interesting stuff, and not to mention the music. Amazing. I absolutely adored that ending music. To recap, Poppy says the following lines. You did it again, against all odds. You defeated Mommy and you freed me once again. You are perfect, too perfect to lose. I'm sorry. I cannot let you leave yet. You have so much potential. I know you came to find the ones who had disappeared all those years ago, but they're gone. They've been gone for a long time. Terrible things have happened, and I am the cause. Being able to exist as a doll has killed so many people. So much is unknown to you. Where do I even begin? But you can fix everything. I see it inside you. This train is now heading to Playcare. It's the best place to start looking. I wonder, what is... And then it cuts off, as we're very familiar with Chapter 2's ending. And so, of course, I'm going to go through line by line and explain my thoughts on what this could have meant within the context of Chapter 2, and possibly why it was removed in the end. So let's begin. You did it against all odds. You defeated Mommy and you freed me once again. You're perfect, too perfect to lose. I'm sorry, I cannot let you leave yet. So, of course, these lines of dialogue are not very far from the original. I believe the only difference is actually how the lines are delivered from Nola Klopp, and that they might have needed changing due to the ending. Like we stated in a lot of these past videos, towards the end of Chapter 2, we know Poppy's demeanor changes, and in this version, she seems still rather childlike, so possibly that's the reason why it was removed in the final version of Chapter 2 and replaced with what we know now. You have so much potential. I know you came to find the ones who had disappeared all those years ago, but they're gone. They've been gone for a long time. It's actually a bit of a shame that we don't have this line in the final version, as it gives us key information right at the start, because Poppy tells us that we came to find the ones who had disappeared all those years ago, which would have confirmed for us that Poppy was 100% the person who sent the letter and the VHS tape to the player. Also, something quite interesting to note here is that if this was true and kept in the final game, this could have been a massive indication of why Mommy Longlegs actually locked Poppy in the glass case. Note as well that also in this dialogue, Poppy knows who we're looking for, and not to mention it's more than one person as well. And something else that's interesting in this is the timeline, because Poppy knows that these people have been dead or missing for a long time. This must be alluding to the fact that the ones we're looking for are within the factory, but they are the toys and they're stuck in the factory. And in the next bit of dialogue we have terrible things have happened, and I am the cause. Being able to exist as a doll has killed so many people. So what I find interesting about this is the terrible things that have happened part is the line I think they used for the trailer when teasing Poppy Playtime Chapter 2. So we would be quite safe to assume that they left it quite late to change all of these ending dialogues. It must have been for a key reason, and perhaps the next part of the dialogue is what led to the change, because I don't think it matches. Like I said earlier, the tone of Poppy at the end of Chapter 2, as we know, is very dark, calculated and sinister. But in the next line, she admits that all of these wrongdoings within the factory are because of her creation, and I think this would have led us to believe that Poppy was one of a kind, and that they tried to make another toy or experiment like her, but just kept getting it wrong, and in getting it wrong, we get the last line. Being able to exist as a doll has killed so many people. It's just a jaw-dropping moment, and I think when the devs explained on the lead up to launch that they were going to go much deeper into the story, I wholeheartedly believe that this is what they're referring to. These lines I think were originally planned to be released with Chapter 2, but I feel like they might have got ahead of themselves and revealed a little bit too much for Chapter 2, and I think again we'll see all this information, but I think it will be in Chapter 3. And the next line, so much is unknown to you, where do I even begin? But you can fix everything, I see it inside you. This train is now heading to Playcare. It's the best place to start looking. I wonder, what is it? So similar to Chapter 2, Poppy's dialogue gets cut off right at the end. I do find it super interesting that Poppy was willing to fill us on the current story about what's going on, like we've been gone for a long time, which adds up from earlier. Again, the fact that we worked at the factory too screams we're part of the beginning of it all. And this also plays nicely with her words, I see it inside you. I wonder what she could be referring to. Maybe it could have even been a bigger nod to the idea that we weren't human at all, and we were a creation from the factory. And Playcare being the perfect place to start, why would that be? From my first assumption, wouldn't all the kids be there? Maybe the toys in Playcare are actually friendly. And this could be where Poppy came from originally. Again, it's such a shame that it was removed, but of course, more than likely, it just doesn't add up to the final story, or it revealed too much of the story and had to be changed. But I do think it's quite interesting that the audio has generally just been left in the files, and I think it shows us what the devs did have planned at one point. I do think the reason that the dialogue was removed again is because it just didn't match the final tone for Poppy, and I think they gave the false impression that she was going to be someone that actually was going to help us. But in the end, I do think they wanted her to have more of that sinister tone, more of that mystery about her, and of course we get the ending we know of in chapter 2. And again, I do think they revealed a little too much of the story with this audio. But we have to remember the things that are addressed in this video were never to be shown, were never intended to be shown. If they wanted us to see it, it would have been a secret ending, which it isn't. But it was scrapped and it was left in the files. So while it's interesting in the sense of lore and what could have been, we have to shelve what we know until we find some evidence that alludes more to it in chapter 3, or we could hear that line again in some aspect. Or we might even receive little snippets of this audio throughout the whole of chapter 3. Who knows? But in short, I do think in chapter 3 we'll get all that information probably a little bit quicker. It will probably be more of an introduction into chapter 3, but I think they will repurpose that information. But anyway, everyone, thank you so much for watching this video, and let me know what you think in the comments below. I would really like to know what you think about these lines of dialogue. I find them super interesting, and I love cut content. But of course, with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit like and subscribe. And if you want to see more Poppy Playtime content, again, make sure you hit subscribe with the bell. But anyway, have a lovely morning, day, or night, wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next very video. Bye!